I'm going to have a little discussion with you guys about the Democratic Party, tell you what's up, give you a heads up on what's going on, how I really feel about it. Saw a comment yesterday from a viewer. Love your shit, but hate the anti-democratic attitude. Republicans don't want us to have collective bargaining, true. Secure livable wages, that's also true. Yet for some reason you think they have our best interest in mind. Don't get me wrong, both sides are fucked up, but at least one side pretends to give a fuck. And that's absolutely true. I'll tell you my story, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. I call it like I see it, when it is, or to the advantage of the current circumstance. So when I was a kid, learning politics or watching on TV, I used to watch the Jon Stewart show. This is a time when George Bush was president, weapons of mass destruction, all lies, pushing for that war, all lies, just feeding lies, and I really had an anti-Republican sentiment at heart, right? I couldn't understand why, you know, you have this opportunity to make such incredible progress and look out for the average Joe out there, and these Republicans wouldn't do it with their philosophy. And I really didn't like them. I didn't like them for quite some time, and when Obama got into office, I was really enthusiastic about it. I was thinking things were actually going to be changing, and this was hope. And I had a business at the time. I was hoping that the economy was going to get better and things are going to get better. And I kept my hope alive, and then it came to Obama was working on his health bill or what have you. I was hoping that he's going to come through after that with something better. And even during the re-election, I was really enthusiastic about Obama. But then one time a moment came when the healthcare website was finally finished that they were working on. They released it, and the healthcare website immediately crashed. And it was just a complete dud. Right? Obama came out with the healthcare website, and I'm watching the President of the United States run to Google, and Google was going to rebuild the website for them and make it functional, link it to these complicated exchanges so people could get some healthcare system. And that's when the scales fell from my eyes, right? At that time, I was building a jewelry business. I was building a jewelry website with no resources and nothing. And I'm watching the President of the United States tell what he had, Catherine Sebelius, and he was like, well, you know, the website was supposed to work. So he essentially was building this healthcare bill, charged this woman, Catherine Sebelius, to make sure that the website actually works. She spent $5 million with some company that did nothing at all, that completely crashed. And I realized that these people are talking about doing something, but not actually doing anything. There was no hope for the economy. There was no hope for the things that I wanted. There was just a fluff. I'm working on a healthcare bill. I'm working on global warming. I'm working on the Iran nuclear deal. All nonsense. China was ripping us apart. The Iranians got with a boatload of cash, pursued their nuclear program anyway. The website was a complete flop. There's so many things. In order to solve the healthcare system, it's like solving the education system, right? Where the colleges are too expensive. Subsidizing colleges and inputting vast amounts of cash is only going to flow into their pockets. You can't switch around the healthcare system and think things are going to be cheaper or better at a net, right? You have to lower the cost of prescription drugs. You have to be able to either produce the drugs, make generic drugs, buy the drugs for cheaper, give them to the people, the standards that they use, penicillin or whatever, what have you. Produce them yourselves and have a public option that's cheap and inexpensive, or come up with some ideas. I don't have all the answers because I don't do this all day long. I figure out how to produce jewelry. I'm trying to figure out how to deliver some basic information. It's not my job. But seeing them blatantly fail at this task, the scales fell from my eyes. So the Democratic Party has gone farther into the deep end. And what bothers me about them is they talk about stuff they'll never do. They'll have the way I describe it, whether it's Obama or any of these left-wing Democrats, is imagine you're in a swimming pool and you can't swim and you're drowning. And the lifeguards watch you drowning and they're like, this guy's drowning. And they have a committee meeting on how to save you. And they have all of the warm conversations, and we say, we got to save this guy from drowning, and the fact that he's drowning is wrong, and I'm for him being saved, and all of these elaborate ideas on how to save. Meanwhile, the guy is drowning and is about to die. That's the Democratic Party. They're not going to do anything for you, right? And the Republicans are not better in a lot of circumstances, but if you're drowning, they're not going to sit here from, as far as the point is now, to pretend that they're going to save you or something like that. They might tell you you're on your own or something like that, but you're better off than having people sit in a committee and pretending that they're going to do something for you. The bottom line is, during the Iraq war in the Bush years, the Republicans were complete frauds. And I didn't have a news channel, I didn't have a voice at that time, but I felt that way. Today, the story is reversed, right? With Donald Trump, he's actually, we'll hate him or love him, he was actually trying to do some things on the China deal. He was doing things in the interest of this country. He's a selfish, boorish human being, but he was a great soldier to have in the fight against some of these global forces that you had in Iran. You know, the way he cornered them, he knows where, as a business person, you know when you have leverage over someone, right? What is leverage? When I was doing business as a young man here in the Diamond District, I did business with a lot of people that were nasty, and they had leverage over me. They had the goods, I had to photograph those goods, I couldn't afford to make them myself, and I had to sell them. And they'd raise the price on me whenever they felt like it. What was I going to do about it? Doesn't matter if I'm at a loss, if I have to buy it and service the customer. Nothing mattered. What mattered is they have it, I need it, and they'll twist my arm as much as they want until I bleed, and they could soak up every dollar. Just as long as I had enough to come back tomorrow and they could do it again. And Donald Trump is that guy. He knows he has leverage over Iran, he knows he has certain leverage over China, and he'll use it and he'll twist their arms, especially with the United States, has extraordinary leverage because the dollar, everything is about money. And the dollar is the global currency, ultimately. And you have extraordinary leverage, but nobody had the sense to use it in the interest of the American people, in the interest of the American worker. They used it against them. And sure, the Republicans, like you say, will tell you, you know, we're not doing shit for you. You're on your own. But for me, that has more dignity than the Democrats saying, well, whoa, we're going to do all this stuff, and then not doing anything at all in the end. And, you know, the bottom line is that none of these options are that great. But I don't like being lied to. I didn't like being lied to on the Iraq War as a young man, and I don't like being lied to now. If Obama didn't do enough for the African American community, he should go out and say, you know what, I should have did more. I could have did more, but I failed you. I'm sorry. Not saying I did everything I could and you got to vote into the House of Representatives more Democrats to flip the seats and give me more power. So he would have done nothing anyway, right? And there's lots of instances of that. And the thing I'm telling you is that when you have to place these bets, picture yourself as if you have a broken air conditioner. You could either put it on full blast cold, or the heater goes on. What do you have to do to keep your temperature at the right temperature in your room? You have to turn the air conditioner on for an hour, turn it off for an hour, turn it on for an hour, turn it off for an hour. Air conditioner on might be the Democrats, air conditioner off might be the Republicans. You have to switch and play and switch and play so you can get the middle ground that you seek, right? You don't want it to be 32 degrees in your house. You don't want it to be 110. So you have to be able, but you can't set the temperature with these animals. You have to be able to find a common ground. At this point in time, it was in the interest of the nation to continue with the Republican trend and wait it out and then go back to the Democrat and try to find that middle ground that you need. A little bit of the Green Deal or whatever the hell it is, and then a little bit of this Republican aspect of it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I like Republicans, but in this particular instance, the lies that are coming out of these people and the fraud really pisses me off. The way they try to go after Trump with this Russia bullshit, this Russia interference. Russia spent $100,000 on Facebook ads, no effect on this, on the outcome of the election, and they spent 4 years neglecting the needs of the people to go after some bullshit, and then the Ukraine, and then they covered up all the fraud that this Biden did. Then at the same time, they're defunding the police. Then at the same time, they're for African Americans, but they don't do anything for them. Then you have a AOC, some bartender from some fucking place, trying to figure out how to solve the world's problems when she's only going to make them worse and collapse everything and no one's going to get together. It's a problem. I don't like it. I'm reporting in on it, right? The Republicans, what are they doing, how they're doing? It wasn't. They're useless for the most part. But it was specific Trump pro-American policies that I'm for, that are interests of the people. He sets up his trade deals. They'll last a couple of decades. He sets up a couple of things. You get rid of them, and then you move on. And then you could, with the surplus capital, you could go and you could invest, or you could hope that someone comes along and invest. So it's not anti-democratic. It's just a reality that I'm presenting to you as it is in my head from my personal experience, right? You have to understand how to position yourself. Putting in some empty hopes onto some of these people is a big mistake, right? The issue I have with some of the viewers and some of the people out there is that they're being lied to and they believe the lies. It's not that, oh, I'm a Republican, I'm for Republicans, I'm for all this shit. I'm not for these guys. I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be played with. I don't want my time to be wasted. And when it comes to this election and what's going on over there, you know, I'm not going to get into it at this moment, but I see something that I don't like. I didn't come to this fucking country hat in hand with my parents in 1994 to see this shit go down. I am a person that's going to take a stand. And I'm going to do it not by how I feel or how I want to feel and how badly I wanted Obama to be successful and put some infrastructure plan. All they had to do was dump a couple, $200 billion, $300 billion in developing some infrastructure, and the Republicans would have backed it. Instead, he made a strategic mistake and went for some corny healthcare bill that was a complete flop, didn't address the real problems and the cost of medicine, and lied and pretended that everything was all good, and I'm watching people lap it up, and I don't like it. I really don't, and neither should you. You have to diagnose reality like a drug addict has to admit they're a drug addict before they could get help. You have to admit the problems that you see if you ever want to solve them. That's what I'm doing.